Kilo fait on monte chogade fine oh bagate watch your love for like why not more mote your body chakare boshere di imade tabado sile kilo fait why now.
Hey y'all.
Hey.
Oh, I feel like my light is up too goddamn bright. Wait a minute.
I feel like I need to just like cross this motherfucker's face out. Just the X.
Yes. Let me tell y'all something. The bitch is tired. I'm fucking exhausted. In so many ways. So many ways. They have nothing to do with the fucking election. So.
It's been a mentally draining week.
Okay. And I can't drink. So.
That's why I drink for you.
Yes. Yes, we can, Jazz, somewhere. Yes, you drink for me. I can't drink. I drank on Tuesday. I drink too much on Tuesday. Yeah. So
I don't think I drank enough on Tuesday. Going into Wednesday.
No, you drank enough because you was already on fire. You ain't need no assistance. You're good. You're good. You're good. Okay. You said I'm a Carty fan. Hey, Asia.
Hey, I got a fan this week.
Woo. Hey, y'all.
Our first time voter out there.
Welcome to Unicorn Straight No Chaser. And normally I would say you come for the shenanigans and stay for the debauchery, but it's a little bit different today. Okay. No, not Taylorsport. Not Taylorsport. He told you what happened when he didn't tell us for it.
No, unforgivable things.
No, we're not doing it. We got Just the Best back. Thank you, Jesus. Okay.
I tried, I'll be trying. But thank you just for being back.
She is not our Lord and Savior.
How it's supposed to be.
She is not our Lord and Savior, but she too is always right on time, unlike Carty. Listen, if y'all don't know, I hate Carty running the stream. I hate Carty running the stream. He always fucks some shit up. Okay. And
low level fuck ups.
And then he gets drunk. He gets drunk sometimes.
This is the only job I can get. I can drink and work.
You cannot drink and do the stream.
I can drink and work. See? Drink.
And for those who do not know,
and work.
I don't like running the stream. I don't like running the stream because I gotta focus on my outline, and I don't have a fancy setup yet where I got 3-4 different screens and everything. I don't have that yet. Okay. Hopefully when I move out of this shack of a house, which is gonna take a little bit longer since Trump is in office.
We got a couple more months of free time. Couple more months. So it while lasts.
Post-election night. How are you feeling? Briefly, because we ain't really come here to talk about that per se. But
what are the stages of grief again? So I went through like.
Oh, that's interesting enough. I was going to.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm like on the 5th or 6th stage. I think I'm not at acceptance yet, but definitely post-election clarity has set in.
Cool.
So
you're ahead of the game.
I'm ahead of the game and just making sure I can clench my ass nice and tight when Trump get in the office, so I don't get fucked. So.
I don't want to assume, but do you pronounce your name Jose? Is it Jose? I don't know how else I would pronounce it.
Jose Che. Alicia.
Welcome. Asia says she is at the destroy the world phase. Jazz is at the anger and rage phase.
So like
Not bleaching,
1,
rubbing
2.
alcohol.
She just putting everybody to sleep. The chloroforming
So
folks.
listen, put me to sleep, please, please.
Perfect.
So tonight it may be some shenanigans, but no debauchery. Although we always can find a way to put it in there, knowing us.
I'm gonna find a way.
If you like the content that we are bringing to you this evening, please give us poor, struggling content creators some stars, okay? We gonna need some stars because we'll be poor in other ways thanks to
We need 4 or 5, 6 supplemental
47.
incomes. Fuck me.
So an ass. I'm
We're
sorry.
not there yet.
You asked
We're
the
not there
question.
yet. We ain't there
I'm
yet.
sorry.
I ain't that broke yet. I'm still an ass.
Darius said I'm at the cutting Hotep's beers and running phase. So we already had our election coverage. You know, that was multi-network election coverage on Tuesday. We all
Was
came
4
together.
hours, 5 hours.
Asia, yeah. You can join if you would like to, Asia.
We laughed, we cried, spirited debates, and dickheads. So the stream had it all that night.
Let me send the link to you, Asia.
Voters and non-voters.
Child, that's because I done sent the
Whole bunch of
thing.
left wings and one fake ass right winger.
Not a thick ass right winger.
Fake.
So tonight we are going to be discussing a number of things because we got to move past what happened on election night. Okay, we got to move past it, and we are going to be discussing the stages of grief. I sent it to you, Asia.
And we're going to get you ready too. We're going to prepare you.
What is next? All right, now that it happened, all right, it happened. We had to Tuesday night, Wednesday, most of today, discussing it ad nauseum. But what are we going to do? Okay, Asia, what are we going to do? How are we going to proceed? How are we going to progress? Because the fact still remains, we got to get up every day, go to work. We got to take care of our children. We got to live. Okay. So people do not know that there is such a thing called election grief. Okay. Now I thought I was making that shit up until I went to go to do the research. Like I literally was calling it election grief. I was like, yo, it's actually a fucking
thing. That shit real.
It's really fucking a thing. There is such a thing as election grief. But I don't think most people know that. They don't know how to put a name to it. And so therefore they might not necessarily know how to manage it. So
you know how to put that in perspective for folks who don't know what it is?
Of course. So we're going to start by discussing how we manage the election grief. We're going to talk about, how there is an increase in people wanting to leave the United States and move abroad. We are going to be discussing protesting. We are also going to be discussing switching parties, because there may be something that we need to do there. Switching parties, different economic structures, because I don't think that we as Black people discuss it enough, and we think we are tied to either being a Democrat or Republican, and actually we're not. So there's a number of things we are going to discuss that I feel like haven't been touched on thus far, even though the network has done a really great job of covering a multitude of things in connection to the election and the fallout afterwards. But I just wanted to kind of bridge the gap for some of the things that have been overlooked. And I see that we got a whole debate going in the comments already. Interesting.
Hopefully,
So we want to see.
hopefully they have their facts. And
Yeah.
cite
So
sources. We cite sources here, guys.
yes, I can cite sources. Okay. I can cite sources, which is some people can't do that. I ain't gonna say no names, but some people can't do that, and you should always be ready to cite your goddamn sources.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, election grief, right? Of course, the country wakes up to Donald Trump being the projected winner. At this point, we know that he is the winner, and we can't agree on a lot of things, but we can definitely agree that it has been a long, hard fight for everyone to get to election day. Okay, that we can agree on. So most Americans are weary. We are stressed out. We are emotionally bruised and battered, and definitely concerned about what's going to happen over the next few weeks, the next months. And the nation is bitterly divided. Okay. Men, women, black, white, Latinos,
Children.
Africans, all of it.
Children know too. Children are
Why
sad
you
too.
including the children? Why you
Because they
including the
know,
children in it?
and they know it's bad news. Even children know it's not a good look.
I try to let my children be children. I gave them a surface level situation, but I told them let me worry about it. I got them. That's just how I chose to handle it. In the wake of Tuesday's election, many Democrats specifically are experiencing symptoms of depression, including anxiousness and fear, overwhelming sadness. I know a lot of my residents were telling me that they were crying. I've almost been in tears a few times myself. And so we're here to offer some guidance on how to cope with these post-election emotions, okay? What's Jose over here saying? He said he Puerto Rican. Oh, okay. All right.
Don't forget, Trump was throwing paper towels at you like he was Michael Jordan.
Were you born here, Jose? I'm just asking. Were your people born here? So basically, as Carty said earlier, everyone is going through the stages of grief. Right? If you are having those feelings, if you are experiencing those things, then it is very much like going through the stages of grief. You have denial, you have anger, and then finally you have to come to acceptance, okay? I want to emphasize that at some point you have to get to the acceptance part, that this is an inevitability and this is what is going on. The American Psychology Association, C-Source, has reported that 69% of Americans felt significant stress heading into the election. And to alleviate this stress, you might want to try doing things like maintaining your regular routine, taking care of yourself through exercise, avoiding arguments about the election. But, we'll get a little bit more specific with that. Number one, though, know that you are not alone. You're not the only person who is feeling these things at all. It's completely normal to feel a sense of loss and fear. But try to use happy, healthy, gotta say healthy distractions. Meaning do not lean too much into the tequila bottle or whatever.
That's my go-to.
Don't lean too much into it. I'm saying healthy distractions. Just says so many of my students are scared that the purge is actually going to happen now.
Well, to a degree, a purge will happen. I wouldn't say killing in the streets, but folks are going to be rounded up.
I hate that. For the kids.
That's why I told you, kids know. Kids are scared. You were born here with your parents or, immigrants. Everyone get rounded up.
I take it that Jose is a Trump supporter, and I could be wrong. He can correct me if I'm wrong. You also might want to try grounding techniques like deep breathing, journaling, naming your emotions to help process. that can be helpful. And then when you feel calmer, you can redirect your energy into actions that help you feel more empowered. For instance, the first thing I did was run to look for a protest. That was the first thing I did. I was like, let me go to my trusted and tried true groups to see if anybody is protesting, so that I can get out there. I can get out there and let my voice be heard. Jose is saying, no, I'm a true supporter and not a victim. Do you equate not voting for Trump to being a victim? I'm just asking questions. That's all I'm here to do is
and give you answers when you're wrong. We're not trying to scare anybody. This is what's been said. That would be day one action. So we're not making anything up. Not using scare tactics. What we say are facts there.
He may have been responding to someone else in the comments, though.
Maybe. I don't know.
Not necessarily us.
We don't lie here.
I equate all the tears and fear in here that actually, you may want to clarify that sentence because it's not grammatically correct. Once you're feeling calmer, redirect your energy. So if you choose to channel your energy into supporting causes that resonate with you, just don't overdo it. Don't burn yourself out, which I have definitely been guilty of. Like I did it this week. I was exhausted. Took my black ass out there to City Hall last night. That's how I cope. A lot of people will say that's not healthy. It works for me. It was better than me crying or being
get it off your chest.
angry.
So you can be out there loud and scream it right
on social medias. What the fuck I'm gonna do that for? So it was better for me to do that. Okay. I still would like an answer to the question, Jose, whether your people are they here legally or no? Do you have anyone in your family that's illegal? I'm just curious. So you want to avoid burnout and don't stuff your feelings down. Make sure you make space for processing your real feelings, your grief, your disappointment, your frustration, your anger, your guilt. Guilt, because I want to add that in because some people may feel guilty because they did not vote. So definitely, if you are feeling guilt, that's okay. Make sure you process that, and you may want to work that out in your mind why you feel guilty. Allow yourself to have the full gambit of emotions because you're a human being and shit is normal. Okay. Then you want to limit your doom scrolling. Okay. So it's important to take a break from the news. Set a timer on your social media apps if you need to. Set boundaries for yourself, okay? Carve out spaces where you are not getting constant notifications and immersing yourself in the bullshit. Try not to spiral to assume that it's going to be, chaos and catastrophe. I'm telling y'all this. I'm going to do what I want to do. But I might spiral, but y'all don't do that. I don't want y'all to do that. That's not good for your mental health, okay? And try to avoid arguing with family members. The holidays are coming up very shortly. Everybody has that one family member that does not know how to shut the hell up.
It's going to be an awful Thanksgiving, I'll tell you that much.
So try to not engage in heated arguments with your family about politics. You have to set boundaries, okay? So in advance, try to think of phrases to steer the conversation away. And I mean, this is for, like, you might have family members that you like, fuck them. I don't give a fuck about them. Fuck them. I'm going to tell them off. And that's fine. But if you have a family member, grandma is 101 and she might not be here that much longer and you don't want to alienate or cut her off, despite the fact that you don't agree with her views, you might want to think of some phrases to steer the conversation in another direction. I'm just saying. If you don't give a fuck about grandma, then, do what you want.
Yeah, definitely don't tell grandma you didn't vote. She'll put a foot up your ass.
Let's go over here to these comments for a minute because there's a lot going on, okay?
Too soon. Siren, what do you tell folks who actually spent millions of dollars in campaigning monies? Because those are the real losers, the ones who put up their own money and they ain't getting that money back.
I don't tell them anything. That was their choice. They know what it is.
Ugh, that's all I'd be hurting. Imagine giving away like $5 million donations.
Let me say this to my people. Wait, Carty. Let me say this to my people in the comments that are normally here. Jazz, Asia, whoever is in the comments that is normally here. If you feel as if you are being harassed, please let me know. Okay. Darius, if you feel like you're being harassed,
folks came for the smoke today.
Give me the word. I don't mind discourse. No, I'm just checking. I'm checking because I have people that are loyal to us that come and sit in the comments with us and talk with us, and I don't want them to feel like there is not a safe space. That's all I'm saying. Jazz says she cool. All right, cool. I'm cool. I just want to make sure my people cool, Jose. Sorry, you're new here. I don't mean any offense, but it is a very stressful time. I want to make sure that it's a safe space. You haven't said anything. You have not said anything offensive thus far, so I'm just making sure that people cool. Anyway, to move on, I wanted to take it a step further when we talked about the election grief. Okay, what they didn't mention, and I feel like we should mention, is that Black people in America, we have PTSD, complex PTSD, which is different from regular PTSD. Because we definitely deal with racism on a daily basis, microaggressions. From the moment we are born, this is what we are born into. We have to teach this to our children. So I honestly feel as if that, all African Americans should get free mental health care, but that's a whole nother story. I know some people may think that's radical, but I think we do, because we don't have a day where we do not have to think about the fact that we have to deal with racism. And then if you're a Black woman, you're dealing with sexism on top of racism. So how can you not have complex PTSD? You know what I mean? And for those who do not know, complex post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental health condition that can happen after repeated or prolonged trauma. And so racism is repeated and prolonged trauma. We just went through a large stretch where it felt like someone was being shot in the street by police officers every fucking week. So that is definitely CPTSD. If you have CPTSD, you might have trouble feeling safe. You react intensely to stress, especially when you feel threatened or in situations that remind you of trauma. And that would definitely explain the strong reactions that Black people, who tend to primarily be Democrats, are having post-election. It makes sense. So people who have complex PTSD would like to avoid situations that remind them of the trauma. Recurrent distress of memories and dreams of the event, persistent avoidance of stimuli that relate to the event, hyperarousal, which means a continual state of high alert, like your fight or flight is enacted, and persistent negative beliefs or expectations about oneself, others, or the world, along with difficulty sleeping or concentrating. I know a lot of people had trouble sleeping. They could not sleep. I know that there's some self-hatred that's going on. It's a lot of stuff. So I just want to urge you that if you are going through these things and you are trying to emotionally regulate, try some of the things that I laid out previously. And if that is not working, then there's a number of resources that you want to try. If you already have a therapist, definitely reach out to your therapist. Try to see if you can get an extra session. If you already have a therapist, make sure that you make your scheduled session, unlike me, because I missed mine last night. I missed mine last night. I was like, oh shit! I woke up today. I was like, oh shit. Well, I came in from the protest, and I had enough time to make it, but I was tired. Child, I poured myself a cocktail. See, don't do what I do. And ate and went to sleep. I was so exhausted. Asia, they swinging and banging in these comments, okay? And you know, Jazz like a good argument. Hey, Daquan, welcome.
What's going on, man?
Asia, why are your therapist getting tired? No, we can't hear that. So I just want to give y'all some resources, and I'm sorry because I meant to put an image up for Jess, but 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Okay, if you are feeling suicidal for any reason, definitely reach out to 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can also contact the National Alliance on Mental Illness. The phone number is 1-800-950-6264. Then they also have the Trevor Project, and this is specifically for people who are LGBTQIA+. All right. If you are looking for help, and specifically it has to do with the fact that you are a queer person or youth and you need confidential crisis support, you can reach out to them. The Trevor Project, you can look that up. Also, 1-866-488-7386. And then, of course, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. If you are on a sober journey and you are feeling triggered by any of this, if you go to their website, there's a number of meetings and resources on their website if you need help because this is triggering you for whatever reason. Okay?
Or any triggers at all. Use those numbers, please.
Yes. And we have a lot of stuff to discuss, but I wanted to get that out of the way. I know that UNAB specifically last night was getting post-election reactions, and I'm sure that they discussed in detail a lot of feelings of sadness and anxiety and grief. So I wanted to offer everyone some resources, some coping mechanisms, and ways to emotionally regulate. Asia, yeah, I got you. I can send you all of that stuff if you need it. Jazz said is tired. She's tired of being nice and willing victims, pigs ready for the slaughter. Jazz, you let it all out. This is a space for you to let everything out. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to discuss, and we have been talking about this for some time in my circle or my friend group, is Black people specifically, leaving the United States. Okay. A lot of people are saying that the United States is no longer safe for us, if it ever was, and that we need to go somewhere else where we will have more economic success, less racism, our children can thrive more. And we're going to discuss that a little bit. Carty, have you thought about leaving the United States?
I've always thought about it, or at least having dual citizenship. I got enough family throughout the country to say, hey, I can belong here, I can belong there. So I just need to just do it already. I'm procrastinating, which I do best, but I really need to go and get that done.
So the family members that you have that are like, okay, you can come here, where are they located
at? Canada, France, Antigua, Dominica, where else? England. I got folks in the UK. So I'm good wherever. I got a place to stay.
Now, Asia said no place is truly safe, and that was my sentiment looking at it. No matter where I go, I'm still Black. And no matter where I go, there's still racism. Your family members that live abroad, like, what is their feedback as far as how racism is where they live at?
It's not as heavy as United States is. So, like, I have my family in Canada. Of course, you got some folks who are racist, but then it's not how it is in America. And I've been to Canada multiple times. But where you go, any countries that are already black, you're not really going to have that issue because you're looking at your own people, unless it's they have their own bigotry against Americans because you don't belong because you're African American. But yeah, there is a sense of belonging though.
I heard Canada was actually very racist. I heard quite the contrary from people.
Well, if you're in like Toronto or Mississauga, you're fine. But if you go out west, like Quebec, like further out west,
yeah,
you might like the French Canadians out there. You'll come across it more, but not on the east coast of Canada.
So you got to stay on the east coast.
Yeah, pretty much.
What is the East Coast? Is those the ghettos of Canada? See, I don't
know. It's very nice. Ontario's nice. Toronto's nice. They're really good cities. A lot of good jobs. There are a lot of other ethnicities. Like there's a heavy Indian population there, and that's growing. I think even the black folks are starting to complain about it. But it's like there's not a lot of racism there, though.
Jazz said, call me, guys. I'm buying a big ass house or at least renting it in any country I can get into that's pro by PO. Did you mean POC? And LGBTQ and respects women's health. BK said, stay in the hood. I don't want to be in the hood. I'm trying to get out the hood.
Canadian hood is nice too.
I don't want to be in the hood.
Everyone has their doors unlocked. It's like, is that safe? Like gun violence in there is like maybe 3 or 4 people in the entire freaking northern continent. Like there's 3 deaths, 5 deaths a year. So it's like it's not a violent place.
Jay said the most issue you're going to have is that you're black because that you're American because everyone hates Americans.
Right, and that can change over time because you wouldn't act like American how whatever Western media portrays us. You wouldn't show that part off because that's not true. That's the reason why you left. So once they see the real you anyway, it won't come across that way.
I got a little hood in me though.
Well, you don't need it because you only hood because you have those walls up, right? That's your surroundings. But when you go in somewhere new, eventually they're going to come down and you'll feel like it's a safe place. So.
But when I cut somebody out the first time, it's going to come out and they're going to be like,
American. Go back where you came from.
Because I'm going to say, you got me fucked up, dickhead. They're going to be like,
She must be one of those real Housewives of Atlanta folks I've seen. Go back to where you came from.
BK, I don't care where you go. Somebody is going to try you in life. That's just life. People try you, okay? Then they're going to try me because I'm American. Then they're going to try me because I'm a woman because sexism is still a thing, all right? We talked about racism. We ain't even talk about sexism. It's still a fucking thing. And I'm going to say, you Canadian bitch.
See? Keep perpetuating. That's why folks say this.
Anyway, being from Canada does not automatically make you classy, okay? Anyway. So around about in the United States around 2020 and now I'm gonna be reaching out.
Oh, Mounties, by the way. Mounties.
The fucking Mounties gonna take me to jail and I'll be reaching out for somebody to bail me the fuck up.
I mean, Canada got their own problems with Trudeau. They try to get him out. They're trying to get him out of there. He's suspect.
Jay said, if you have an American passport, a lot of countries are open to us to stay there for like anywhere from 2 months to 6 months at a time. So if you're able to get employment or figure something out, because I'm sorry, we got to do something to this community to show that they need us and not to keep abusing us. I 100% agree with that.
100%. It's a lot easier to get a work visa somewhere else than it is to get it here.
Now, in the United States around 2020, right? That's in the Black Lives Matter movement starting to peak. That's when we had a real surge of people looking to move out of America into Africa and other places, okay? The COVID pandemic, the racial reckoning in the wake of the George Floyd murders led a lot of Black Americans to seek a different life abroad. And a lot of people are calling that movement the Blaxit. Okay. So, the Blaxit, BLAXIT. So that's Black Americans immigration around the world. And it's probably the largest surge of them immigrating since the 1920s. Europe used to be an escape for a lot of Black people. Think about Josephine Baker, right? When she was facing so much racism here, that's where she went, and she found freedom there. But
a lot of entertainers and actors, musicians.
Yeah. It has extended past people going to Europe, to people going back to Africa, people going to Mexico, Ghana. It encompasses all walks of life. So there's not exact numbers. I wasn't able to find exact numbers, but if you are on Facebook, if you are on social media, YouTube, you will see different accounts and videos and channels popping up that is offering advice on how you can safely move abroad somewhere else. I know there is a Facebook group that I follow on Facebook. It's called Blaxit, and is offering advice to Black Americans on how to get the fuck out of the U.S. And a lot of people have successfully not only moved themselves, but people with families have actually moved. So it's definitely a viable option, as Jazz was saying. These groups are providing community, and they are being utilized for resources for people who are considering that move, as well as cautionary tales. So, because you can visit somewhere, but until you're actually living there, you don't really know what it's like. You can go visit someplace for a week, and it could be lovely, but once you
Please do.
There.
Please go out there and visit before you just get up and move.
So when you are looking to move abroad, you want to consider safety, healthcare, affordability, quality of life, and other things. There is actually something called a World Happiness Report. All right. And that was started in 2012. The U.S. does not rank in the top 20 of the world happiest countries. Okay, the U.S. is not on that list. It is not on the happiest report. Happiness has fallen sharply for young people under 30 compared to older populations that's classified as over 60. Okay, and packing up and moving to another country has many advantages when done right. You can feel safer and healthier somewhere else. But you definitely got to make sure you consider all your options. You want to make sure you, in addition to the other things I mentioned, you need to consider access to quality education, employment opportunities, and what is the community like overall. After you consider relocating, remember, it is a privilege to have the opportunity to live outside of your home country. So it should be a top priority to support the local economy, hire locals if you're starting a business, and most importantly, ensure that you're not contributing to pushing locals out of affordable homes. Okay? You don't want to move somewhere and become part of the problems and then have people looking at you like a number of us have grown to look at immigrants here in the U.S.
Like Hawaii. And that's
like
the United
Hawaii.
States, but folks in Hawaii, the natives are pissed off at white people.
Very pissed off. They don't want. They says keep your ass over there. Stop coming over here. We don't want you. I could get into a lot of reasons why a lot of people have been going there. One of the reason is people found out that they have a housing authority, so that doesn't help. And they're like, oh, I can get PHA over in Hawaii, and they go and ain't never been to Hawaii in a day in their life. Jan said the Black men and women from the U.S. that moved to Mexico fascinate me because that's the one country I'm hesitant because of the bad love between Puerto Ricans and Mexicans, but it looks dope as shit.
Mexico is a great place to move. A lot of black folks are moving. What is that? The capital city, not Mexico City, but that's also a big one. But Jalakahara, whatever it's called.
It's on the list. It's on the list. We're going to get to that. Jazz says, we are not trying to be colonizers or implants. Hey, Mickey. Hi. Welcome. So I did a little research on like some of the best places, the safest places for black people specifically, because that's who I want to help, my people. Nothing against our brown friends, but our brown friends don't be down with us like we be down with them.
Shoulder the polls.
I'm just saying. The desire for proximity, the whiteness, but that ain't why we here tonight. That was tonight. That was previous nights before. I'm not getting into it, but the desire for proximity, the whiteness is fucking crazy. And the first thing he said, pack your bags, bitch. Thank you for the vote and pack your bags.
Jesus.
Oh. Darius said I had the opportunity to move there, but I was held back. Well, Jazz, we not counting you, but get your people though. It wasn't just Latin men, Jazz, because I said it. I said it in the group, and I don't know the chat, and I don't know if you were paying attention. You might, been somewhere else. But I have Latino women in low income housing that were like, I'm voting for Trump. And I'm like, ma'am, you want to lose your housing is what you're telling me. Makes absolutely no motherfucking sense to me. Do you think that he supports low income housing? No. Yes, Jazz, you definitely was. You was swinging and banging. I was just joking with you. Mickey said they motherfucking won. He said you're out. Hey, mommy. So one of the places that they said is really safe for black people to go to is Ghana. So they have started a year of return campaign, and black Americans have relocated to West Africa, which is very interesting for me because as a Haitian, my ancestry is in West Africa. It's one of the best countries for black people to relocate, hands down, from what I've looked at, hands down across the board. It's supposed to be one of the best places for us to go. If you want to escape racism, you want to be in a predominantly black country, and there's a remarkable black expat community. So they have a lot of resources for you. There is something called the African American Association of Ghana and Expat Life Ghana, which serves as a guide to what they refer as the Blacksit. So Ghana is definitely an option.
I think they're like America's supposed to give you 40 acres of the mule. They'll give you land. They'll give you a house. They'll set you up. Like you can just come there and they'll just give you it. So
I think I'm going to look a little bit more into Ghana just because I would prefer to be in a predominantly black country. Me personally, I just feel like I would be more comfortable there. And I'm pull out my DNA test like I'm one of you.
Probably. It depends. I don't know what's the Chinese influence in Ghana right now, but if it's still low, then I would consider.
Giselle said, I was actually so surprised that most of my family members that are women who voted for Trump the first time was like, no, he's the devil this time. Well, that's good because you have intelligent family members. You come from an intelligent family that, said, we made a mistake. We misjudged them, and I'm not doing it again. Jazz said, would you want to move somewhere or you just want to be here because some people don't want to move, and that's okay. I'm just curious. I want to move somewhere. I want to move. I've always wanted to move. I've wanted to move for years. It's my children that are impeding. But if I didn't have any kids, I would have been gone. Y'all wouldn't even know me. Y'all would not know me at all because I would have gone a long time ago.
I would have too.
I mean it. Asia said, I'm not going nowhere. I'm stuck here. You are not stuck here.
Never stuck, girl.
Mickey said, I heard Colombia is welcoming to us too. Got to look more into myself though. Just joined a Black Stick group recently. Well, I wonder if you're in the same one I'm in.
He's part of the Passport Bros.
No. So
Colombia is nice this time of year.
So there was 2 different locations for Mexico on this list. The first one was, and if I'm saying it incorrectly, please forgive me, because I do not know. I've never heard of it. Merida, Mexico. It said they have a very strong Black expat community, and it's a well-known place to raise a family. It's a lot to do for children. So anybody who has a family, who has kids, a single parent, is located near various beaches, towns, parks, indoor play spaces, and more. If your children are still in school, many parents send them to private or international schools, which cost between $200 and $300 per month per child. And to me, that's not bad at all. The amount of money that we were discussing that we were paying for daycare, $200 and $300 a month is nothing for a private school. Sign me the fuck up, okay? Many families do also homeschool their children. That ain't for me. I don't got the patience. And they have great medical centers, and they are known to be LGBTQIA plus friendly. Okay, so that's a positive for me. I didn't know that.
And a quick note for folks that if you work for a corporation and they're also international, look for the job section and see what other sectors there are in other countries. That way you can still work your same job, but yet you can also transfer and move to a different country. So don't think that you have to physically start over. You don't have to. Like my job, we have countries all over the world. We just opened up an office in Costa Rica. So push come to shove, I need to go to Costa Rica. I can still do it and still work my job. So.
And if you move, I got a reason to come visit you. So.
Yeah, I got room for you.
Wherever you go, I'm coming to visit, is what I'm saying. Make sure you got a spare room. Well, 2 spare rooms, one for me and one for the children. Okay. The second location in Mexico, now I cannot pronounce this. It's OAXACA. How do y'all pronounce that?
Oh, yeah. That's an Aztec city.
You know how to pronounce that? OAXACA. I don't know, but it's OAXACA Mexico, right? So that's another popular destination for Black families that want to move abroad. It consistently ranks as one of Mexico's most colorful and vibrant cities. It's located in southern Mexico. It's also a great destination for families. It has a lot to do for children, great weather, access to the outdoors. You can keep your children physically active and yourself, because if you like me and your back is getting bigger every day. And the capital city of the state of the word I cannot pronounce is also known for its warm and welcoming culture, especially for Black families. Child, I was hoping y'all was going to be like, oh, I know that. She dumb. I know how to pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oaxaca? Is that how you pronounce it?
Oaxaca? It starts with an O. What now? I took Spanish. I know H's are J's, but O's aren't W's. Okay.
Okay. Mine is
learn something new.
I knew one of my smart friends in the comments was going to tell me Oaxaca. Okay. Okay. Well, listen, Oaxaca, Mexico is also another destination that is welcoming to Black families that want to move abroad. Okay?
Far south Mexico.
Southern Mexico.
Southern Mexico.
Yes, you was, Nikki, because I didn't know at all. I just was like, ooh, I'm not even going.
I'm not even going to attempt that.
I was like, I ain't even want to play myself. Talk for a minute, Carty. I got to answer this text because it's about my child.
Well, I'm guessing what else was on the list. Well, I know because I've read the list over the years. There's always Switzerland. Switzerland as far as the happiest place. So like Switzerland, Holland, well, Amsterdam's there.
You giving out bad information from what I
it changed. Well, Switzerland's always was like top 10. Switzerland, Holland.
We talk about for black people.
I mean, in general. Oh yeah, my brother-in-law is Swiss too, so I can also go there too. But as far as like human rights goes,
yourself.
Well, that's blame my sister for that, but win's a win.
Asia said if she sends you a bottle of Taylor's Port, you got to drink it on live again.
Oh my gosh, why would you want that?
Because it's entertaining.
Man, I should charge for that show.
Next is, and the list wasn't long, so I'm not going to be boring you all night with different places on the list. But the next on the list was Panama, right? So it's saying for black families looking for an easier transition, and I look specifically for families because that means even if you're a single person, you'll be okay. This covers everyone, all right? Monty said you drinking Taylor's Port was hilarious. Okay. She said she gonna pay you, baby, for you to act the fool and get on that pole again. So Panama has been a top destination for expats worldwide. Panama is attractive for several reasons. It's tropical climate, affordability, healthcare, and English is the second official language. I didn't know that. That is very helpful, okay, because I know a little French. That's it.
And it's a huge import-export city.
And another draw is the culture. The Panamanian people are known to be extremely friendly. They'll make you feel at home. In addition, the country has low crime rates and a long life expectancy. And the way that I engage in libations, I need to go to Panama and get my life together so I can live on
Panama. Panama. Oh, 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 oh.
And as you mentioned earlier, Costa Rica is on the list.
Hey, okay, so all right, that backs up my claim. I'm with it now. I might have to take a look.
Costa Rica checks off a lot of positives, right? Good healthcare, stunning scenery, mountains, volcanoes, beaches, great schools, safe place to raise black children. And Central American countries are known for having stable economies, strong middle classes, and universal health care. And there will also be a significant black expat community in Costa Rica. Okay?
Yeah, a very good democratic country, too. My thing is the mosquitoes. If I can get past the mosquitoes, I'll be good. I just really hate mosquitoes.
Darius said Oaxaca also rebelled against the Mexican government and tried to bar entry into their town by destroying the roads. Oh, that's wild. BK said, I just seen a TikTok with a woman getting a full body health exam and test for $810. Well, ideally, I would like to have insurance because that's a lot.
Even without insurance, that's kind of low compared to American full body exam. You're paying like 2 stacks, 3 stacks.
I ain't paying shit because I got insurance. But I saw how much it costs to have a baby. I saw how much it costs to have a baby. So if I didn't have insurance, I know how much it would cost. And I no, absolutely not.
That's a crime too. They gotta pass a law about that. It shouldn't cost that much to deliver a baby. It used to be like $100, like 30 years ago. You have a doctor come in your house and deliver your baby.
You said 30?
30, yeah.
No, it was not no damn 30 years ago. It was only $100.
No, it was like 30, 35 years ago. I remember like talking to a woman. She was like, yeah, 30 years ago, I had a doctor. I paid a doctor to come and deliver my baby.
Don't be listening to what that's a fucking lie.
What? It was in the early 80s.
Nigga, you talk about 30.
30, 35. I could be 40.
Okay, come on.
I mean, even you can have Abdullah's do it too for like under 5.
Thank you, Jazz. It had to be 75. Talk about some 30 years. People just was saying any old thing.
Abdullah's you can do home births for less than $500.
And where's that baby at today? That's what I want to know.
Just fine, home chilling.
I hope that you don't know
that. My niece.
Is she fine? And that's the lady. And she said it costs only $100.
Oh no! I'm talking about the doulas. Like now, like she's like a year old now.
Okay.
Not
Stop giving
now.
out don't listen to that. No misinformation. Okay.
I ain't making it up.
All right, and the final place on the list is Bali, Indonesia. So Bali is an up and coming haven for Black families. It has much to do with Black in Bali's work. So BIB is called Black in Bali. They've made significant strides in attracting Black Americans and people of African descent to Southeast Asia by building community. During one interview with Black in Bali, they stated that they aim to help make the transition to Bali easier for Black families by being intentional with events and resources, group leaders plan Sunday brunches, professional business seminars, and health and wellness events. They also work with families relocating by providing them with resources on schools, employment, and housing opportunities. And I'm so happy that we did this show because I didn't know about some of these countries. I was looking in other places and not in these places at all. So I'm actually really happy we did this show because that is the main thing. Like, I want to get there and know where to go and who's going to provide resources and who's going to be helpful, and like they actually want us there versus us just side and just jump up and do it on our own.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, that's what our four sisters and brothers did, pioneer wise, going through the South, finding out, hey, what's a safe place to stop and rest and eat and who to talk to. Little roadmap for us. So that's great. Real question: South Korea on there at all?
No, that list is over. That's done. No.
Okay. It was not no
more. Ironically enough, you bring that up. The 10, and I'm not getting into details. I'm just going to name them. That's it. No details. It is what it is. The 10 worst countries for racial equality: Iran, Belarus, Bahrain. I'm probably saying these wrong. Myanmar, South Korea, El Salvador, Cambodia, Romania, I'm gonna say it wrong. Azerbaijan, and Israel. Those are the 10 worst countries for racial equality. Don't go to those places.
We know them Israel's are racist.
But it was interesting that you brought up South Korea. Don't go there. You could like the Korean.
I feel bad. I just know some. I know some folks who went over there who for work, and they ended up started working over there. I didn't know they were. Heard it was a good time. That was a couple years ago though.
I'm sure. I'm sure you could find somebody do some strange things for some change when they talk about it's a good time. Yeah, but it's not a good place for racial equality. Some people just like, oh, it's racism everywhere, and they don't care. They'll just go and they'll deal with it. But if you
I'm confused about Cambodia too, Jazz, because they are dark. It's just dark as us. I'm thinking that's like a Dominican thing, like you dark, but you don't call yourself black.
What? But colorism is a thing because there's a lot of dark ass Dominicans. I've seen a lot of dark ass Dominicans, but they're colorist. They're in Dominican Republic. They're very colorist. So Jay said, I know South Korea is really big on thin people and they don't like big people, and I'm a big bitch, so that's not going to work for me despite me loving
I hate my tall ass.
Child. Well, we probably all big compared to them. I'm probably big compared to them. So some places it's just not as, but this is why we're talking about it, so we can weed it out. And if you're really serious about going abroad, hopefully this will be a little bit helpful for you. The largest thing that I've come to realize over the last year or two is that Canada is not necessarily the best place to go. They are having so many issues with racism that they're trying to invest $110 million in a plan to help with those issues. So they just launched a 5-year anti-racism strategy. Now, maybe you could revisit it in 5 years and see if it worked. But if they feel the need to invest that much money, then it would just say to me that it's a big problem.
Well, I think I think I look at that as a plus side. At least they acknowledging it and wanting to do something about it. Because the United States ain't going to invest shit into racism here. So
I think it's good if it actually happens. Okay, if they actually invest $110 million, but if people are racist, they're racist. Like you, I don't know how their money is going to change their hearts. I just don't get it. So I can understand that it's not tolerate. It won't be tolerated.
Maybe we should say like bigotry because they're not really racist. I don't think that no one's actually getting over on anyone else because of it. I think it's just call it bigotry.
No, that's what it's called. It's called it is anti-racism strategy, not anti-bigotry, anti-racism. That's what it said.
All right, Canada.
Okay, so Canada, y'all might want to rethink. That's all I'm gonna say.
Get it together, Canada.
Do some more research. If you gotta go, the healthcare is still great, but
as far as I'm supposed to be in Canada this weekend.
Oh yeah, well we talk about that another time. So moving on to ways to proceed. Okay, as I mentioned before, my coping mechanism for everything that is going on is to protest. I love a protest. I love a good protest. I love a good march in the street. I love a good yelling, screaming, fist in the air.
Fight the power.
Fuck the police. I love it. Huh?
I was down with the establishment.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, generally speaking, not individually, because I do know that there are some wonderful, wonderful police officers. But I'm talking about generally the motherfuckers that's shooting us and their standby with their.
We're talking about the ones that just made folks for no goddamn reason. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, fuck them. Take it to the streets and fuck the police. I love a good protest. So that's my first thing to do, right? Because it does bring attention to whatever your movement is. A lot of people are like, okay, does protesting actually work? I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a lot of people. When I go out, I usually go by myself. I have had friends attend protests with me occasionally because they're like complaining, they're angry, they're mad. I'm like, well, come to this protest with me or whatever. You just on social media typing it up, whatever. Come. But some people just rather complain. I don't really like that. So I definitely believe that one action can spark a movement, and if we work together, we can create a better, safer place, a better, safer community if we work together. And protesters play a vital role in making sure our human rights are acknowledged by institutions with power. So if we go from salt marches from the British colonial rule or the Black Pride marches from the Stonewall riots, like protests can actually work. It can actually enact change. And then all the Black Lives Matter protests, it definitely brought a lot of attention to what was going on. Amani said, my coping mechanisms are protesting, playing dodgeball, going to the gym, and watching all the DJT supporters experience everything they voted for with a bucket of buttered popcorn. And don't forget the glass of wine, a la Kerry Washington and Scandal. There's countless examples of how protests can actually work if we come together. I know I always feel better. I always learn more information about things that people are doing that people do not actually know about. People trying to get bills passed, get legislation passed, like a lot of things that you're not going to find out on the news. I find out when I'm out in these streets. It promotes solidarity. It can produce results, and it can bring socially and economically marginalized groups to the foreground. Okay. But you also have to remember that's not the only thing that you have to do. So you protest. Hey, Sal. You protest, but you also have to do other things. So donate money, donate your time, educate yourself. And like I said, try to get bills passed. Even people think that you have to be, I don't know who they think they have to be to run for certain positions, but there's a lot of local positions that you can actually run for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Carty, you know, maybe you could be a little something, an ombudsman or something. I don't know. I don't know if I want you running it, but
You can't see me being a little congressman or alderman. You're gonna be an alderman. Pull that off.
you, David Carty, the experience you want.
Experience you need. Vote Carty today.
That sounds horrible.
Like this.
You go part like that, yeah. You would do it. You got the profile.
Just shot me the fuck down.
I'm just saying, I couldn't do it because I'm too inappropriate, so I wouldn't be able to do it. But I feel like I have some people in my circle that definitely have the gift of gab and the charisma to run for something in office. I do. Jazz, listen, I'm a support too. I'll support. I'll be on the campaign team, but I can't do it. So Carty, we could clean you up, dust you off.
Yeah, I can win an award. Give me a district to run. Give me like Germantown.
Not experience the change.
Experience the change. Oh, I love that slogan. Copyright it right now.
I also think, yeah, we need to think about that. Like, listen, especially when you see these motherfuckers brawling, when you see that they're voting for different bills and they get to swinging and banging. I love it. I'm just like, oh, y'all motherfuckers ain't no better than us. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. That Harrisburg Senate floor, Harrisburg floor is crazy.
We also know how to fight. Yes. So I wanted to say, and y'all gonna have to forgive me because this video. Hey, wifey. Annalise said, you know, your wifey gonna have it lit and popping. I'll be your campaign manager.
All right, listen, I'll take all the help I need.
Would be amazing.
That party be the same day I get fired too. The same day I get fired. Yeah, that damn party.
We can't have no Diddy party. We cannot have a Diddy party at all.
I got me Diddy party.
So in the coming months, in the coming weeks, there's gonna be a lot of protesting. Okay, and I'm not just talking about in Philly in general. I know it's in the air. They did one. If we already had one yesterday, then we already know that it's coming down the line. And depending on where you are in the country, some of that shit is dangerous. So when I go protesting, like I didn't need it last night. I knew I didn't need it last night. But when I'm protesting and I know there is a possibility that it may be dangerous, I have a bag that I take with me. And there's certain things that I take with me. So I had to go find my video. This was before I was a content creator, and I was like, I can't find this shit. And I had to find it and screen record it and shit. So forgive the quality of the video, but I was basically laying out what should be in your bag if you are protesting and you feel that it is a possibility that is going to be a dangerous situation. And let's be clear, we have had during the movement for Black Lives Matter, there was so many protests that definitely could have been dangerous. Okay, so what is the Annalise talk about? Not baby oil wrestling. Not baby oil.
I mean, as a baby oil is a good thing to have in your bag, though.
No baby oil.
They can't catch you if you're slick, baby. Just dump it all over.
Do you have that video of me telling everybody how to pack their good old protest bag? If you do, can you please? Well, I'm thinking about it. I think my voice cleared up a little damn bit. I don't know. Anybody that's thinking about going to protests, it's a few things that you want to take with you. I think my voice cleared up a little damn bit. I don't know. Anybody that's thinking about going to protests, it's a few things that you want to take with you. Number one, whenever I go out to protest, I write important phone numbers and permanent magic marker on my arm. Most importantly, if I was to get arrested, there's organizations and bail funds for protesters, so I always write those numbers on my arm in case I need to call somebody if shit hits the fan. I make sure I wear some clothing that is comfortable and easy to move in. Sneakers, because you don't want to have on sandals or flip-flops or anything. Something you can run in, get some traction. I wear a book bag, my handy dandy Death Note book bag. In my book bag, I always have a couple of masks, my ID. You want to have some loot cash and not a card. My gas mask, my goggles, a milk and magnesia solution. I usually have an extra shirt in plastic in case I get wet for some reason. I said an extra mask, right? Sunscreen. I'm looking for my gloves. Snacks. I got gloves in here somewhere. Always water. But, you know, it's usually people at the protests giving away water and snacks. 9 times out of 10, at the very least, there's always water, even if it's no snacks. Because there's so many protests. I always have earplugs. You know, we didn't get to that level where they got the sound cannons, but I have earplugs. I have sound reducing headphones too. Having autistic children comes in handy as far as that's concerned. And then I also have a first aid kit and tampons, because bullet holes, you know what I mean? So I try, when I'm going, I'm prepared for shit to get real. Most of the protests that I have been to have been peaceful. Today was the first time I was kind of weary of it going to the left. As time goes on, I know that the protests are going to become more volatile. That's what you sign up for when you go out there. So when you go out there prepared. So if any of you do decide to actually start protesting and haven't, you know, that's something that you should take with you. And a solution of milk and magnesia and water, you know, in your eyes. But I got goggles, so I didn't bring it with me. But yeah, if you don't have goggles, you can do that to put in your eyes in case you get tear gas, pepper spray, whatever. Alright, so let's get ready to rumble, because it's only going to get worse. I would love to say it's going to get better, but it's going to get worse before it gets better. So y'all, child, I needed to watch that because I forgot. I got to pack a bag again. I don't know where my shit went. Goggles, gas masks, everything. I don't know where my shit is at. Like, disappeared somewhere in my fucking house. But I got to get on pack my bag again. So I was happy I found that video. Yes, I'm always down to take down the patriarchy. Annalise, I will let you know when the next protest is. There is a meeting on Monday at 6:30, somewhere at Temple. But as far as an actual protest, I'll let you know about that. But there's a public meeting on Monday. And anybody else that's interested, like if I know you, I'm gonna be dropping shit in the chat. I don't expect people to come. I just provide the information. I'm fully intent and prepared to go by myself because I've been going by myself. That's why I go prepared, because I'm by myself. I will, Darius. I will. So I just want y'all to take it seriously when y'all go. It's usually peaceful, but as we saw, there's always the possibility of it becoming volatile. Like somebody was looting last night. I don't know. The cops was after them last night. I'm just like, people.
You gotta watch out for those folks, those antagonizers who just want to stoke flames, especially from the other side. You gotta keep your cool.
If there ends up being a whole lot of protests, then I'll probably do a show specifically laying out things that you have to be mindful of, like crowding, and then people who come to the protest pretending that they're there to support the cause, but they're actually there to start shit, and then turn around and point it. What I'm saying is they turn around and they say, look at this organization, this is what they do, they're looting, they're volatile, and it really was the people who came to the protest to specifically undermine the organizers. So
AKA undercover police. Undercover too.
Yeah, they were out. They were out last night too. The undercovers were actually out last night too. So, I was surprised because I knew it wasn't going to be a large gathering, but they were out there. They were out there like it was a large gathering. Darius said, "Keep an eye out for cargo jeans, shorts, and sneaker boots." Jan said, "Let's go. If I can do it, I can do it." Okay, Anna, if you don't like crowds, last night you would have been good, but a lot of ones I've been to, it's a shitload of people, and they in your space, and this was during COVID, so I just want to give you warning about that. The other thing that I want to discuss, and this is going to be a long discussion because it's a lot of information, a lot to go over, right? Is us actually switching parties. Okay, you do not have to vote Democrat or Republican. There are actually other parties that you can vote for. Now, do I feel like you should? That's debatable. That's debatable. But there are other parties. I know you see it when you vote on your ballot. You see the Green Party. You see the Libertarians. And I never even pay them any mind. Do you?
Only the Green Party. Like, I like Jill Stein. Like, she had a lot of good ideas, but I know she would never have the backing.
Which is sad.
Like, the closest thing to Jill Stein was Bernie Sanders. You compare like Jill Stein, like she was like Bernie Sanders, pretty much.
And I loved Bernie. Oh, I love that. I still love him. He's still talking his shit. Okay, he's still talking his shit. I love him to death. That he is a strong old man, and it's a shame that we couldn't have had him in office all this time, because he still would have been here, all his faculties and everything. That would have been amazing. You ever wrote in somebody's name?
That whole when Kanye West was running, I thought about it because it was like a thing to do. I was like, folks are actually writing in Kanye West right now. But no, I never wrote him.
And how stupid you would have felt years later.
I talked to those folks who did it, because I think he got a considerable amount of like votes in like somewhere out west, like Midwest, wherever he was staying, living at the time. He got a whole bunch of votes, write-in votes.
That's interesting.
It was scary.
So I figured that we should spend a little time discussing alternate parties. Specifically, we can start with the Green Party. So the Green Party is a progressive political party, and it's the fourth largest by membership. It's promoting environmentalism, nonviolence, social justice, participatory grassroots democracy, gender equality, LGBTQIA plus rights, anti-war, anti-racism. On a political spectrum, the party is generally seen as left wing, and in 2016 officially self-described themselves as the eco-socialist party. Okay, so
Yeah.
some of the pros of voting green
So
is the only
think like Democrat on diet, like diet Democrat drink. It was like them.
Diet Democrat.
Yeah.
Diet Democrat. Okay. It's the only party that unequivocally recognizes climate change as the single most dangerous threat facing humanity today. I would agree with that. I because baby, if we don't take each other out, then
Mother Earth
definitely
will.
is be something, some force in nature that take us the fuck out of here. Okay.
John Kerry's right.
It's pro migration, so they stand up for immigrants. Um, they're part of the global green movement. They have the most democratic of all the. They're the most democratic of all the major parties, um, and they're open. They have an open policy making process. Okay, and it's the most evidence based scientific party. It for the moment, you know. Cons, it has a somewhat flaky record on things like alternative medicine. Um, it's no longer party policy to suggest that cures be available on the NHS, but there's an anti-science strand of thought within the movement. So not as a whole, but within it. They do have a few anti-science policies.
I can live with that.
So overall, not a bad party if you want to back them. However, the issue, as we said before, is like how many people know about Jill Stein? Not a lot. They don't have the backing that they need to push their candidate, even though Jill Stein probably would be a wonderful president. Hopefully, because looks can be deceiving. Jay said, "How do you think the world will turn out if Connie became president at that time?" I don't know. I don't know. I'm always skeptical. I'm always skeptical.
Hey, who's Connie?
That's Jazz talking. I don't know her last name, so don't give me the lying. Sal said, "I'm baking the Scientology part." Shut up, Sal. Shut up, Sal. The next party, right, will be the Libertarians. That is the other thing that you see on your ballot. Okay. Libertarian Party is the only political organization which respects you as a unique and responsible individual. Now, mind you, this is not me saying this. This is how they describe themselves. Okay?
AKA the Libs.
Their slogan is they are the party of principle, and they strongly oppose any government interference into their personal, family, and business decisions. Essentially, they believe all Americans should be free to live their lives and pursue their interests as they see fit, as long as no harm is done to another. It supports the rights of individuals to exercise virtual sole authority over their lives, and then it sets itself against traditional services and regulatory coercive powers of federal, state, and local governments. So
it's very laissez-faire of them.
It is. It's laissez-faire capitalism. Yes.
Y'all remember that, folks? Y'all remember grade school laissez-faire? We're going to school go today.
Daquan said, "I honestly think we should burn the country to the floor and start over." Daquan, I said that on Tuesday. I say it all the time. I've been saying it for years. So you let me know. Inbox.
Redo it. Black Sync going to rebuild it. I'll tell you that. We've done that once already.
So some of the, and mind you, y'all have to understand that next to Democrats and Republicans, Libertarian is the third largest political party. Their policy positions include ending the prohibition of illegal drugs, advocating criminal justice reforms, supporting same-sex marriage, ending capital punishment, supporting gun ownership rights. And like I said, according to voter registration, they are the third largest political party.
Let's go.
So Carty mentioned that is laissez-faire, right? Is laissez-faire capitalism. It does not always produce the best or most efficient outcome. And their philosophy of individualism and policies of the regulation fail to prevent the abuse of natural resources. Also, like, there would not be welfare. There would not be social security. You would not, they fail to mention it.
Get that shit on your own. That's what it is.
Yeah. It is up to the individual. We're not going to tell you what to do. We're not going to intervene. We don't give a fuck what you do in your bedroom. We don't fuck what you do out in the street. But we're not going to help you with anything. You got to figure that shit out.
Your own power. It's like playing Rust in real life.
There's no CCIS.
I'll play Rust.
There's no CCIS. There's none of that. You need help with your tuition. That we're not doing that. We can't do that. We can't help you with any of that. So you have to be, because it sounds good in theory until you start thinking about the social programs.
Yeah, logistically it doesn't work, because it ends up turning to be capitalists anyway. Since everyone's for themselves, it just ends up being a capitalist society.
Right. At the end of the day. Everyone's looking out for themselves. Jeff,
no oversight.
Did I put something about libertarianism in here, or did I not? Because I felt like I did, but maybe I didn't. I probably didn't. I meant to, and I didn't. Damn. But essentially, that's what it is. Yes, everything is for the individual, but I can amass as much money, as much land, as much companies as I want, and if you over there struggling, I'm not going to help you at all. That's up to you, my guy. It's completely up to you. So that is the downfall with it, because we got to think about people who are disabled. We got to think about the elderly. Like, they need assistance at some point in time. They need a leg up at some point in time. The way everything is set up when you're pregnant, that's when you can't work. So how are you going to support yourself? There's no systems in place. There's nothing. There's going to be no one that's going to be able to help you. So that is definitely something you need to consider. If you are deciding to go with the Libertarian Party, you want to do some research into that. Because like I said, at first it sounds amazing if you are against the government being in your business, until you realize that every now and then you might want the government to intercede for you.
Mm-hmm.
Daquan says some people are going to need help eventually. We all need, 9 times out of 10, we all need help at some point in time. Everyone is not that blessed.
And that's how they get you.
Yeah, from birth.
Because if it did happen, it'll be like, okay, we're going to have this one guy who has all the money. He'd be like, hey, come join me. And everyone ends up being their own personal king in their own kingdom, providing whatever they can because they have the most of what they have. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't, not good.
Not good at all. Now, I personally am a fan of socialism. Okay. Mm-hmm. And actually, one of the groups that I protest with the most is the Party for Socialism. Okay. I realize a lot of people don't know what socialism is, or they may have the wrong idea about it. Along with communism, they would have the wrong idea about it. Socialism is a political and economic theory that advocates for the community to own and manage property and resources rather than individuals, right? And I actually have a video that y'all don't want to hear me keep talking. Jess, can you play that video on what socialism is, please?
Socialism is an economic and political system where the community or state owns and controls the means of production rather than individuals. It aims for equal distribution of wealth and resources, ensuring that everyone has access to basic needs like healthcare, education, and housing. In socialism, profits from businesses are distributed among the society to reduce inequalities. Critics argue it can lead to inefficiency and lack of motivation due to less personal financial incentive. Supporters believe it leads to a more equitable society. Socialism emphasizes collective welfare and decision-making, contrasting with capitalism's individualistic approach.
So in socialism, you have the ability to be rich. You could be rich. But what it really means is that no one would be poor. No one would be poor. But you still would have the ability and possibility of being wealthy if that's what you wanted.
That's what I like about it, because everything is shared. Because in the capitalist society, hey, well, you always have, hey, I'm here and you're here, and we level the playing field. As long as you're the type of person, hey, if I can feed my family every night, I have housing, I have health insurance, everything is fine. I'm not wanting for nothing. Then that would be the class for you.
Right. Exactly. And that appeals to me because, hey, maybe I do want to know what it's like to be a little wealthy, okay? But I don't want to see people living on the street. I don't want to see homeless people. I don't want people who have mental illness to by default live a lesser quality of life than me. I don't think that's fair. Like, none of us get to choose how we come into this world and the issues that we may deal with. I may be able-bodied today and disabled next week. Anything could happen. So I like the idea of, okay, we would take care of our community as a whole, and I don't have to feel like, well, why is this person rich over here just because they were born into this family? Meanwhile, just because someone else was born into a family where their parents didn't have as much, they don't get to go to a quality school and get the benefits and the leg up that everyone else gets.
I just hate that it's demonized by Republicans.
Oh, socialism, yeah.
Yeah, and like they'll call you, you're a socialite, you're a communist, and those two is separately different things. But you're on the road, you hit socialism first, and then you hit communism. But it's a good spot to be at, and I hate that it's been demonized. That, hey, it's America. You get what you fight for, and that's the only way to live. And we have the money. We have the money to live in that type of society. But it's not shared. The wealth is not shared out that way to live that way, and it's designed for that. And that's what you call capitalism. I think we'll go into that. Yeah.
Well,
go into that.
Jess, can you play the video with the lady in the green sweater, the white woman in the green sweater, or it looks like a green sweater?
The problem is capitalism. The problem is the exploitation of the working class. The problem is that the system has been set up so that you can work and work and work for hours and days and weeks and months and years on end and not see any gain or any benefit from it. Your work doesn't benefit you, it benefits the people that you're working for. The problem is that the people in power and the people who make the laws are having their pockets filled by companies and corporations so that they do exactly as they're told. The problem is that we live in a sociopathic economic system where some people are deemed more valuable than others. And if you don't have any economic value, then you deserve nothing. You don't get health care, you don't get housing, you don't get your basic human rights respected or protected. All you get is exploited for all the money that they can get out of you, and then you die. We need to dismantle the system that treats us like we're only valuable if we can help make rich people richer while we ourselves are struggling to even survive. This is a system that is trying to take away our human rights. It is our duty to overthrow the system and replace it with one that values human life over profit. It is our duty to get rid of the people that allow this system to continue.
And so while capitalism does provide economic freedom per se, private property, right? It also leads to monopolies. It leads to inequality, exploitation, and socialism can actually lead to a more equitable community, society as a whole. Okay, so some of the key features would be public ownership, central planning, welfare systems, shared ownership, and positive self-determination. Some of the cons, of course, would be higher tax, reduces incentives to invest in work. Entrepreneurs may prefer to move to tax havens abroad. Welfare state can create disincentives to work, and this is just the perceived cons. Okay, government failure and regulation, and ownership of industry, excess labor market regulation can lead to less employment and structural employment, and powerful unions can cause antagonism between workers and owners. But again, this is the perceived cons, okay? Because there are countries who practice democratic socialism, and it is some of the countries that actually practice it are on the list of some of the best places in the world to live. So you take note of it. The countries that are the best places to live, just in general, not just for Black people, but in general, they practice some form of democratic socialism. So that's something to keep in mind.
I don't like how much of a hybrid we are, because we're capitalists, but we're also a little bit of socialism. I mean, we have there is free healthcare. Well, for some,
very little.
Very little. There's still healthcare. Like your trash gets picked up. Like these are social services that go through Social Security. Like that's part of that program. All those things are socialism, and like they want to cut that shit for you. But I mean, that's stuff we paid in for, and it's weird, and it's also on the same side. So we're capitalists, and then also we're imperialists as well. I don't know. Is there a thing of imperialism?
Well, that wasn't on my list. There's a lot of other things, but okay. I was trying to touch.
I'll say imperialism because that's what we are, and imperialism is policy of extending one's borders or reach through military force. And that's one thing we do. We start wars. We go into other countries. We invade. We take resources and political favors to strengthen ourselves. So we're also imperialists as well, like Star Wars. Like we do it through democracy, and then we also do it by political force. Like we'll be all nice and blah 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 to like other countries, and then we'll go to like South America, and then be like, all right, we're gonna just bum rush you and put people in power, and then now you owe us. So we do nasty work, man. We do nasty work.
Well, socialism is the transition. Okay. So it's an economic and political theory that is meant to be a transition to transition us into communism. And everybody knows that communism gets a horrible rap.
Damn, communists.
Yes. If you bring up communism, has anybody in the comments ever heard anything positive about communism? Probably not.
And that's because of propaganda.
Because of propaganda. But socialism is supposed to eventually lead to communism. Now, has anyone successfully become a communist country? No.
Well,
no, they were not successful. Because you want to say Soviet Union, right?
Well, they had a good run.
But it never truly became a communist country.
Yeah, it was like an offset. It tried to, and then they tried to get China into it, and then China adapted their own version.
Yeah, they attempted to, but no one has ever been successful because
Korea.
No one has been successful. Communism is a type of government as well as economic system, a way of creating and sharing wealth. In a communist system, Individual people do not own land, factories, or machinery. Instead, the government or the whole community owns these things, and everyone is supposed to share the wealth they create. So socialism is supposed to set you up so that eventually there's no need for the state at all. That falls away, and then we become a communist country. Jess, can you please play the video of the white man?
North Korea is a dictatorship.
Yes, it is. Yeah, a white man and the black cat.
There's another question that I get all the time is what's the difference between communism and socialism? And it's pretty simple. In socialism, the idea is that we're still producing surplus. We're still growing and trying to create more. We're trying to build better infrastructure and more technology, more automation, things that liberate us from work. Inside socialism, we can have money, we can have markets. It's not a market society, but it can have markets. This is one of those things that some people disagree on. I'm just telling you what could be. Under socialism, enterprises are going to be worker-owned and operated. They can be managed democratically as an autonomous unit, or they can be managed by a sort of sector, think of like a sectoral council, or they can be managed directly by the state. I'm of the mind, like Sam Gindin, that the state should be managing really high-level things like unemployment, housing, healthcare, education, things like that, and that small commodities that don't matter so much, like your local coffee shop or your bookstore, those are things that can be worker-owned and operated. Obviously, that's an extremely simplified idea, but that's just sort of like your nuanced, high-level look. Also, when I say that markets are very, very specific, the idea is that there aren't any labor markets, there aren't any capital markets, there aren't markets for any sort of good that is a public necessity. Think healthcare, housing, education, food, and most importantly, labor. Now, under communism, the idea is that it's stateless, classless. What does classless means? It means no surplus is being produced. Everything is sort of produced by necessity and at need. The idea is that there's no surplus labor, there's only necessary labor. And stateless, meaning that there is no need for any sort of hierarchical or authoritarian situation. Honestly, communism and anarchism, when it's actually good and said and done, they're like the same thing. I know I'm going to get some anarchists in my comments that are like, fuck that, that's not true, but the reality is it is. So the way to understand it is that socialism is this thing that allows us to build the infrastructure to create the liberative technology and automated sort of workforce that liberates us from work, liberates us from toil and drudgery so that we can actually enjoy the sort of utopian fantasy, a utopian idea of communism. However, the communist project is something to be worked on almost forever. I think of it as an infinite horizon, a thing to always be aiming for. I hope we can attain it, but I understand that it is something that's going to require constant work.
He's using big words.
Constant work is an understatement.
So, communism, free education and healthcare, equal opportunities. Everyone in the country has equal opportunities. No one has to pay for healthcare. No one has to pay for education. Low unemployment would be expected, right? Low levels of unemployment, strong social communities, and efficient distribution of resources. Resources are distributed efficiently to everyone, equally across the board. Okay, nobody is rich because everybody has what they need. That's in communism. Everyone has what they need. So no one.
You have the same house. You have the same car. No one has anything that the other person doesn't have.
Right. Whereas socialism is different because there is still the possibility of people having more wealth than someone else. However, no one would be poor. No one will be poor. You still will have access to healthcare and all the other social organizations and interventions. You will still have it. Okay.
Free markets. So yeah, that's still a thing.
Yes. But the goal eventually with socialism is to eliminate the need for the state interventions completely because everyone has what they need across the board. So I think people have a lot of misconceptions about what communism is. Like, yes, it's a lot of information. I definitely tried to break it down so it's a little bit easier to digest and process for everyone. I love TikTok because A lot of people do they know they got a limited amount of time, and they try to give you a large amount of information in a short amount of time in a digestible way. But it scares people off because it's not familiar to them. They know what they've grown up with. They know, what they've been taught within their household.
Propaganda.
We don't talk about this. We don't even talk about these other options. Imagine where you were not stressed about the fact that you were sick and you needed to go to the doctor and you don't have insurance. I'm literally going through a situation right now with my daughter where my daughter's, everyone knows my daughter is autistic in addition to having a genetic disorder, right? She automatically, right, gets Medicare for the rest of her life because she has a lifelong disability. I don't have to go to the welfare office and whatever. She gets Medicare automatically, right? I don't have to do anything.
Socialist program for folks who don't know.
Socialist program. Now I also have insurance through my job, through my company. I've been with my company almost 8 years. I pay for insurance because I want better insurance so that I have access to my children have access to other things, better care, because a lot of places don't take certain things. But when I am trying to get her certain therapists and therapy, what I have been encountering is a lot of things that have been set up. They won't take her because they're only going to help her if I only use my Medicare and not what I'm paying out my pocket for. So they don't want me to use my job's insurance. They want me to use Medicare. And they will not take my insurance, and they want me to shut off my insurance with my job so that I can use now, y'all tell me what kind of fucking sense that makes.
Capitalism for you. It's all about the money.
Because they profit from me using the Medicare. They profit from, but I overall, eventually down the line for her other doctors and care, I'm going to need my private insurance. Because 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. Like, the way that the system is set up is fucking ridiculous.
I hate capitalism, but they'll make you think it's the greatest thing in the fucking world. Greedy corporations, like the woman said in the video, you'll work, X hours, a week or bi-weekly, and you only get paid a certain amount of money. And that's only because of capitalism and Henry Ford. He created the 40-hour work week. Before that, it was different. He made sure that, hey, you work a certain amount of hours, you get paid this much of money, and that is it. No matter how much you work, they will still get all the profit at the end of the day, and they can control the prices as well. And then it got to a point where, okay, we got board of directors now, and the only job of board of directors is to make sure they make more money, and it doesn't trickle down. This Reagan, trickle down economics, where that came from. If corporations make more, you will make more. But that has never been the case ever. Trillions and billion-dollar companies, we don't see minimum rates go up at all unless we fight for it. That would be non-existent. Whatever the corporations make, you will also make this just as much as someone on the board would in socialism.
And I had a video, but I'm not going to play it. But basically,
you're not shouting out Henry Ford. Fuck that nigga.
But basically, the video is laying out how capitalism is nothing but modern day slavery.
Sure enough is.
That's all capitalism is modern day slavery, and it is basically a carrot on a string dangling in front of your face because you're trying to achieve this thing and get to this place, and you're never going to get there because the cost of living is going to continue to rise, and just you're never going to get there. And I don't mean that for everyone, because obviously some people, they do a number of things and they end up being in that 1%. But for most working class people, they never get there. They spend their entire life trying to get there or trying to set their children up to get there. And it's an exercise in futility. It's not a quality of life. It's not a good quality of life at all.
Leave it up to Republicans who get $5 an hour still, by the way.
Yes. And a lot of people, well, we're fighting right now to make what $25 an hour be the minimum wage. That's what the current fight is, to try to get it up to $25 an hour, which that is what you need at minimum. And a lot of people will say the socialism and socialism is definitely doable. Communism, that's a little bit harder, but a lot of people say it can't be done, but there is some forms of it being done in the countries that have the highest quality of life rankings. So there's several quality of life rankings and places with the highest quality of life that include Switzerland, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Canada, Australia, the Netherlands, New Zealand, and Germany. I don't know about Germany, but
Germany cool with black folks now. It's all good.
And when we say high quality of life, key factors are a strong healthcare system, high standard of education, political stability, economic prosperity, low crime rates, and a beautiful natural environment. Okay. These are countries that have some form of democratic socialism. Some form of it. So why can't we do it? Why can't we do
that? Because we're embedded with the American dream, and that you have to work for and F over as many people as you can to get to the top.
They have fooled you and convinced you that working yourself into an early grave means, like the woman was saying, that you have more value. They have fooled you into thinking that. When it's really just picking cotton for massa. That's it.
And they yacht and they foreign trips.
Daquan, you are absolutely correct. In certain cities, $25 an hour is not shit at all. So you're 100% correct about that.
I'm looking it up now. The highest minimum wage in the country is DC at 17. Most states are still at 7.25.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's fucking 7.25. The fuck am I going to do with that? I can't even eat with it.
Multiple states: Indiana, Ohio, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Hampshire. Shame on New Hampshire, North Carolina, South Carolina, and PA. Of course, PA are 7.25 in PA.
That's fucking crazy to me.
Yeah, DC winning though. It's like 17 right now.
Asia, you definitely deserve to make more. This is the wild thing. I am entrusting you to work with my children, and I'm only going to pay you $15 an hour. Come on. It's not that many people that's going to do things just for the love of it.
Not you don't love kids that much. Not $15 an hour. Let alone the person who's running the daycare, getting all that federal money and only keeping all that money, and they're only paying their employees that much.
Yeah, I think he said VA is 17 in some areas, but that's still not enough.
That's not enough.
And an example of a prosperous socialist country is Bolivia. It has drastically cut extreme poverty. It has the highest GDP growth rate in South America. And like I said, all the other countries that I mentioned, they have socialist ideas and policies to various degrees, but you can blend it there, and you can have a bit of capitalism and socialism. We do it. We don't do it well though. We don't do it well. We lean into capitalism with very, very little socialism, and then we make people feel bad.
Right, that's the thing.
For any of the socialist programs, we make people feel like shit about it.
Oh, you on food stamps? Well, yeah.
Which is wild. especially when you potty training. Because baby, I will pay you $50 an hour to hear potty train my kids. Oh.
Shout out to Bolivia. They did one thing right with their cocaine money. They reinvested into the country.
Not with your cocaine money.
That's how they made their money. It was the cocaine. Lying?
I think y'all fucking crying. But I know that
no one should pay for food. Honestly, I swear to goodness, that's the worst thing about it at all. Like homelessness and people going hungry, kids going hungry, because it shouldn't happen. We are too rich and too powerful for it to happen. We pay farmers not to grow food to control supply and demand. We pay them not to grow food. You get what I'm saying? Like it's sickening. Like capitalism is a disease.
It is 100% a disease, which we just mentioned. It's also modern day slavery, as we just mentioned. I know that you had something that you want to discuss. Course, hey.
Oh yeah. Since we're going over this, we got to take folks back. This is like going back to school lessons. Like all this is like a basic civics course. So I know we've been out of school for a very long time, but if y'all remember, I'm showing my age. School of Rock, not School of Rock. Schoolhouse Rock. Saturday morning you're watching your cartoons and they hit you with a quick bam bam, bitch. Like, hey, learn this shit. This isn't important. This is how your government works. This is how social programs work. It hits you here and there. And of course, it stays in your mind. Like, hey, conjunction. What's your function? Like, y'all remember that shit, right? And I'm not the only one.
I remember it.
You remember? Yeah. So
barely. I heard it through my mother's stomach.
Yeah, Schoolhouse Rock. You remember them?
Yes.
I'm just a bill. I'm just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill. So we're taking you back. So there's a video that I found that has the same type of vibe to this current day and age, to let you know about what's going to happen when Trump gets into office, and that playbook you've been hearing for the last 6 to 9 months about the 2025. You can't go online and read it. It's free knowledge. Everyone knows about it. I suggest you read it. It's only 800 and something pages, but if you don't feel like reading it, then you can just go ahead and watch this video here.
Now, it's a lot of people that's not going to read an 800-page.
Niggas don't read, and that's why when shit happened, they like, oh, where's this coming from?
That's why we doing this. And
this is why we doing this.
I played a 3-minute TikTok video, and they said it was too many words.
That's out though.
People, no, Asia was like, he talking too much.
People don't have black folks.
They don't
have black folks. As long as you put it in the song, niggas gonna remember it, and that's why Schoolhouse was a shit, because I remember it all these years later. Here goes the video.
Hey there, who are you? Oh, just the most important document in our country's history.
You mean the Constitution?
Nope.
The Declaration of Independence?
Yes, again.
The Federalist Papers?
The Federalist... What? No. Even more important than whatever you just said. Now sit right here and I'll tell you all about me. I'm just a little paper for the ages. A way to set the government straight. A short 887 pages on how to make America great again by forcing through the president's agenda, removing all of those who disagree, replacing with our loyal party members, and reclaim our great country. In sum, give power to the president to authorize the government to legislate morality and wrestle back normality from Marxist ideologies that infiltrate our policies like gender, race, or anything woke. We're gonna abolish the Department of Education, turn the swearing in into a coronation. America's great salvation will arrive with Project 2025.
Coronation? You mean like a king?
No, it's called the unitary executive theory. It gives the next president unchecked power to do whatever they want.
So, a king?
Oh, let's not get hung up on semantics. Here's how it's gonna work. Once that we've started the transition, and no one's left to tell us to wait, we'll go through every policy position, get rid of all the language that we hate, like civil rights, diversity, and unions, and pronouns to mention but a few. Defunding any liberal institutions that dare question what we do.
I'm pretty sure the Supreme Court...
Oh, the Supreme Court. That's a good one. Now, where was I? Abortion will be pretty much illegal, and reproductive rights will be gone. We'll get back to the biblical ideal that a family means a daddy and a mom with kids. Repeal the crazy climate regulations that get in the economy's way. With everyone reporting to their stations on Inauguration Day. When we give power to the president to authorize the government to legislate morality, expelling abnormality like godless ideologies, protecting inequalities like gender, race, and anything woke. We're gonna abolish the Department of Education, convert the melting pot into a Christian nation. The stage is set and we'll be going live in 2025.
You can't seriously say all that.
Wanna bet? Come on, let's crack me open.
Page 124.
Make more nuclear weapons.
Page 257.
End the war on fossil fuels.
Page 214.
No more gun violence protection.
Page 298.
Feeding hungry kids at our schools.
Turn to page 5.
Ban offensive books from the classroom.
563.
Make it hard to register to vote.
Page 449.
Dismantle Medicare.
534.
Kill off the grizzly
Page
bear.
4.
Delete the term sexual orientation, gender equality, awareness of sensitivity, diversity, equity, inclusion, abortion, reproductive health, and reproductive rights out of every rule, regulation, contract, grant, and piece of federal legislation that exists. And that's an actual quote. And that, my friend, is only the beginning of how this makes America great. You'll be so overwhelmed with all the winning that you won't know what you've lost till it's too...
Wait! This doesn't sound great at all.
No?
No, it sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Well, I guess if you wanted to, there's still some things you can do to stop it.
Like what?
Well, if you vote to save democracy and stand against autocracy and tell your friends and family, enough with this insanity. We fought too long to part with these essential civil liberties like privacy and equity and bodily autonomy and what defines a family.
And we lost the vote, so that's all there is.
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands. We lost.
That was actually a good video. So we summed in 4 minutes. They summed up the 800 and what?
47 pages.
How many pages?
847
pages, which was summed up in 4 minutes. Okay, and we're fucked. We're fucked. So,
yeah, fucked. And they cited the pages too. So if you want to go in there and go directly to the page that said the song,
if you want to go fact check, it is online. You can go fact check to see if the video and song was accurate. Okay, but it is.
The song was too long. Well, the song wouldn't be too long if there wasn't so much shit to do in the damn book.
If it wasn't 847 pages, then it wouldn't have been 4 minutes. But this is what he's aiming to do. And this is why people are scared. And this is why people are upset. And this is why people are crying. And people think that everything that we have fought for, that we can't lose it. We 100% absolutely can. If losing the right for abortion didn't show you that anything can happen, I don't know what else has to happen. I really don't.
The dismantling of the schools, the education department of education is fucking crazy.
Daquan said that's a project implemented either way. We're getting fuck Londick style. Daquan,
and the only reason, I'm sorry. I'm gonna say
I was just gonna say Daquan. He is not like he has a bunch of Democrats underneath of him. The House is Republican, so
the Senate is Republican. And the only reason why they made 2025 because when Trump got into office, he didn't have a damn plan. So he just wung it. He just winged it. And now this time he actually has a playbook to literally go by for the Republican agenda. So it's going to happen. There's no end. It's about it. It's just about how long or how much far into the book he can get done in the next 4 years. And that's the important part.
Yeah. How far does he get into the Trump Bible?
Right.
That's the question.
We can try to stop him during midterms, but you got to vote 2028.
Vote in your local elections. Vote in your local elections, okay? That's what I need to impress upon y'all. Voting for the president is one thing, but you need to be voting for everything else. Every single thing else.
Across the board. It will help. Remember this guy? This guy, the bills, starts locally and works their way up.
Asia, I don't want you to take that away from this. I know it was not a good experience, but I don't want that to be a takeaway.
Please no.
I really don't. I hope that you vote more, not less, but more. Teddy said that reminds me of that George Carlin comedy bit saying America doesn't want smart people, they want obedient workers. Teddy, you're 100%. Absolutely correct.
George Carlin.
No, it did. Asia stresses all of us out, but you are a black woman. We are always stressed the fuck out. The goal is to get to a point where we are not stressed out anymore. I don't want to spend the rest of my life feeling like this. I don't want to spend the rest of my life being stressed out. I don't want to spend the rest of my life feeling like I am merely tolerated in my home country. That's not what I want, and I don't want that for my children. Daquan said we should still vote. More people should create a new party if the current party is not working. Well, that's exactly why I laid that out, Daquan, about the different parties. And I am actually considering becoming a socialist.
Go green party.
I have been sometime, or green. But there are other parties. People are not educated on them, which is another reason why we did this episode. People are not educated on the other parties. They're not educated on the other economic systems. And I'm not saying that everyone is not. There are people who know about it, but there's we have to be realistic. There's a lot of people that's not a factor for them in their everyday life. They don't know about that. I had a long talk with a few of my residents, and they're older people. So in their mind, socialism and communism, that is a horrible thing, because that's all they've ever been told. It's a negative association with it. Libertarian, the fuck is that? And I don't endorse libertarianism at all. I don't think that's good for anyone. But the point is, you need to have the full gamut of information to make an educated, informed decision for yourself. And we also need to begin to look outside of just Democrat, Republican parties. We need to dismantle the system in place. Even if you choose to remain a Democrat, there is still dismantling that needs to be done, because as it stands right now, Democrats are not for the working class. They're not for black people at all. It's not what your grandma told you back in the day. You vote Democrat.
No more. They have their own agenda.
No. And I don't know that it ever really was. I don't know that it ever really was. But it's just what we were taught, and that's all that we were given. And I've been black for a long time. I don't feel like either choice was good, quite honestly. But yeah, I know it's a lot of information. It's a lot to take in, but I urge you to do some homework on your own. If you have a short attention span, I promise you TikTok is great to get a lot of information in a short amount of time for those who have a short attention span. And I tried to do this with those people in mind, just because that's the society that we live in today. And I wasn't going to make a whole bunch of videos for today. I wasn't going to personally do it tonight. Going forward, I plan to do more content about socialism and communism going forward. But I just this short amount of
we can have another civics class again, maybe a couple weeks and months. But in the meantime, folks, hey, stop being lazy. That's the thing. Like, y'all lazy. Y'all fucking lazy as shit. Get up off your asses. That's the only way something's gonna move around here. If you get up.
Listen, freedom is sexy, Sal. Okay, understand this. Freedom is sexy. You can't, all the shit that we be talking about, all the nasty, disgusting, diabolical things that we discuss, there is a chance that we will not have the freedom to do those things anymore. We won't have that freedom of speech. Okay, BDSM, what? We're not going to have those freedoms in the way that we keep going. I
That's
literally
right.
was out.
It's only going to be missionary
with
style.
A group of people.
Only one way to fuck the new law. Missionary.
What was against the law? Wasn't it against the law? Wait. Wasn't masturbation and no, not just anal.
Yeah, masturbation was illegal and
oral sex. Wasn't all that shit was illegal?
It was illegal in another country, I believe.
Yeah, the fuck. And I'm standing there. I'm a black woman, blackity black woman. There's no mistaking that I'm black. Out there last night, and it's people with communist flags, and the cops is white. All these white cops is there, and people's talking about fuck Trump and hate. And I was like, this is wonderful. This is freedom, right? The freedom of speech, I can say what I want. They can wave their communist flag. Like, there was a time where it would never happen. We would have been locked down immediately. We would have been locked up immediately. No black people would have been allowed. Or treason. A woman, let alone a fucking woman too. Yes, treason. And
yeah, that happened in the early 60s in Hollywood. They were locking up, like actresses and actors.
For being communists. Because they wanted everybody to have what everyone else had. Ain't that wild? When I was a kid, I really thought communism was something else. I thought it was something completely different.
Because that was the movies. They made it look like it was evil, like Red Dawn and Red October.
Oh my God!
Rocky.
Yeah. Wow. Absolutely wow. Although no, the Soviet Union was shitty. Like, that was shitty. So I don't know what the fuck that was, but it wasn't what it was supposed to be.
The hockey game.
No, Daquan, we definitely have to start somewhere. So in lieu of us just sitting around complaining, I had a whole different show already done. And I literally did all this shit in one day. So don't judge me, because I literally did all this shit today while I was at work. And put this together because to me it was more important. After last night, going to protest, and seeing all the shit that I've been seeing online, on social media, the conversation I have been having at work, I'm like, for one day, y'all be okay if we don't talk about sex and we talk about something seriously, because first and foremost, this show is always about mental health for me. First and foremost. And this has affected my mental health, my friends, my family's mental health greatly. All of this has affected us greatly. And instead of me just bitching about it, instead of me just crying about it, I really wanted to give some information. And it's so funny because we had a gentleman that was like, I'll bring the information to the people. I get the information and I'll bring
all the wrong information.
I really wanted to do my this is basic level information for anyone that is interested in doing something different than what we have been brainwashed to do, taught to do, that we think is the only way, the only choice. There are other decisions that we can make. We don't have to stay here in the U.S. We can leave. If while we are here, we can protest. We don't have to. Yes, you can get dual citizenship. We don't have to vote Democratic or Republican. But we do, if we want to make that vote count and then not be a throwaway vote, then we also need to unify under a different party. But all of these things start with an education. You have to educate yourself. You have to take the time to educate yourself. We spend hours and hours on social media watching mindless bullshit, watching baddies, watching 60 Day Fiance, watching all types of dumb shit. Like, you could dedicate maybe an hour a day into figuring out.
Watch C-SPAN. I know it's boring as fuck.
It could be that. It could be a number of things, but ways to improve your quality of life.
You know what I do? How I stay informed? I listen to NPR radio. On my way to work, I listen to NPR. So it's like an hour drive for me to get to work. So they catch me up on anything that's, what's going on in the government or what's going on locally or, foreign. So I stay informed of what's going on. They're independent, so they're not swayed to one side or the other. And if you want to get started in the process, or at least getting to know what you need to do, or at least get your feet wet, look up your council person in your ward, and they have an office. You can walk in 24/7. You can knock on the door. You can actually meet the person there. They're usually there. They work for you, so you can walk. Like mine is on Germantown, and I forget, but you can walk Cheryl Meeks. You can walk in there. You can get literature. You can ask, hey, what's on her agenda list and what is she voting for, or what is she planning to do on her? And they have meeting nights where she will talk and take everyone's concerns and push them forward. So that's a great place to start, as your local council person in your ward of your district.
Okay, I did not know that. That's good to know. That is good to know. And see, Asia, that's how you know I don't watch that shit, because I know. I thought it was 60 days, 90 day, whatever.
60 days is kind of close. 6 days sounds crazy.
It's all. I'm marrying somebody I only know for 90 days. Shit. I know somebody for 9 years, and then
get that citizenship. They're gonna stop that too. By the way, that 90 days marriage certificate to immigrant. Nah, they're cutting that shit off too. It's going to be like a couple years. Like you gotta wait 5-10 years. Yeah, I mean you already have to wait that long anyway if you want to get them through the immigration system. So
a lot of people won't be upset about that.
Back in my day, you could just marry a Jamaican girl and get yourself like $5,000. You can't do that no more.
Not back in your day, pop. Okay.
That's how they did it.
At any rate, if y'all missed any of this stream, y'all definitely can run it back because we discussed the number.
You said that with a Jamaican accent. It sounded like you said that in Jamaican.
Now, so here's the thing: I could pick up people's accents, but I gotta be around them. So if I move somewhere where they hear the accent, I would pick it up in no time. But just me trying to generate it in my head, like I'm gonna sound like shit. So. You said they ruining your TV. Yeah, they about to fuck that joint up for you. If you missed any of the stream, you can run it back because we discussed a number of things. Definitely, like I said, there's a whole list of places that welcome Black people if you want to move abroad. The coping mechanisms that we mentioned at the beginning for anyone experiencing election grief. Definitely those mental health resources. Thank you, Jess. This is why she the best, baby, because she found it for me. Thank you. Reach out if you are struggling. It's confidential. It's safe. No one will know if you need any kind of resources. And again, if you're triggered and you have a substance abuse problem, if you go to the narcotics or alcoholic anonymous websites, there's a number of resources for you as well. Please try to use healthy coping mechanisms. Don't engage in arguments. unlike myself, because I love a good argument. But and limit your screen time. If it's depressing you to watch the news, it's depressing you to be on social media, definitely limit your screen time. And also, you might need to purge your friends list. You might need to get rid of
your algorithm.
Unfriend them, block them, or you could snooze them for 30 days. That is an option as well. And if grandma getting on your nerves, I mean, like I said, it depends on whether you value your relationship with grandma or not. You can engage or you cannot. Depends. But I say just leave grandma alone for a little while. Lastly, do the education on different parties, and yeah, you might be surprised at what you learn and how it appeals to you. So I'm saying, because this shit ain't working. The way we live in, this ain't it at all.
Yeah. Get involved in the political process. It starts slow. No one gets born to be the president. They have to work their way up from somewhere.
Y'all see how fucking hot it is? It is November. We are weeks away from Thanksgiving.
70 degrees outside.
No jacket, no sleeves, nothing. I've been wearing sandals, flip-flops. Like, I ain't had to put a shoe on at all. We need to be backing somebody who is concerned about this fucking climate change.
It's going to be irreversible 10 years from now. So irreversible. It's going to be the beginning of the end.
This is crazy. It's damn near irreversible now. This shit is not. Listen, my birthday is January 31st. When I say I've had a couple of birthdays that I didn't need a fucking coat. Now, I was happy because I don't never get to do that. But also, I was like, oh, we're all going to die. Because there's no way.
Hotter summers, greater tornadoes, F5 hurricanes, more destruction. All the package. You should have looked for him.
But the problem with Alice, he had the personality of a thumbtack.
That's true.
So people want to be charmed. It's the same way y'all bitches like to be charmed out of your panties. You know that nigga ain't no good, but he's just.
That's why Trump got in office. Is charming all your motherfuckers.
His red. He wasn't charming me. He got riz. It's 72 in Virginia.
Charming them white men.
Child, yes, charming the draws right off them white men, okay? Because it definitely was a few Trump supporters out there.
Young white men.
Young, dumb white men.
Dumb white men. It's horrible.
And if you're not dumb, then I'm not talking to you.
I've seen a video of just like a whole bunch of college boys was like, oh, we voted for Trump because he saw that he got assassinated, so he must be doing something right.
That was a scheme that Ty set up to come to us with the bullshit. Like, nobody tried to kill that man.
Ain't no one. Deep state shit, man. Deep state shit. Republicans will stoop so low.
Anyway, I'm not slipping into discussing this shit. I really am not.
It's time to go.
Yeah, it is.
So you're not dumb. You're a school teacher.
Asia, you are not dumb. If you don't cut it the hell out. I appreciate each and every one of y'all who stayed around for our little lesson this evening. I know it's not typically what we do here, but again, it's speaking to what I said. We have to do different things to help our community, to educate our community with facts, real facts, so that y'all can make educated choices going forward for the best things for yourself and for your community. I hope y'all join us again next week. Oh my God.
You're an asshole.
Crazy. I hope y'all will join us next week on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is going to be a much lighter show because I need more debauchery. So I want to talk about the the myth of the roast beef pussy.
Bat wing, bitch.
And the boomerang dick. So y'all make sure y'all come on back next week so that I can speak to you and advocate for roast beef vagina. Okay? Y'all come on back for the debauchery. All right, we are going to have a mental health topic. But it's going to be much lighter. We're going to talk about home wreckers. Yeah. So home wreckers, roasty pussy, and boomerang dick. It's going to be a good time next week. So y'all make sure that y'all come on out. And if you have missed any of our episodes, y'all can run it back on all Head Nerds and Charters platforms, specifically Facebook and YouTube are the best for that, okay? I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Y'all be safe. And if y'all move, okay, make sure that y'all let me know where you at so I can come visit. Asia said she just be trying to flirt. Well, you make sure you come on back next week because that's a environment that's more conducive for you to be flirting. So, you could talk about your vagina type in the comments, and I'm sure it'll be more men in the comics next week.
I will be on time. I know that much.
So you said you got boomerang dick, then you make sure you be here next week. Make sure you here next week, okay? No, you don't, Carolyn.
It came out of nowhere.
And until then, y'all be safe out there. If y'all end up protest, if y'all know about some protests that I don't know about, y'all hit me up in my inbox and let me know because I'm gonna be there. I'm coming with my little backpack. Again, thank y'all. And if y'all loved what we did or what we do typically, give us some stars. Give us some stars.
Follow us.
And my wife was in the comments earlier, Annalise. She is heading the planning of a kink event. I am assisting her for a change. I'm not in charge. I am assisting her. So we
woman only event.
No, we'll be giving you more information about that as well. It's going to be specifically geared towards Black people and LGBTQIA+. Okay, now not saying that the straights are not welcome. They are, but we're trying to carve out a safe space. Specifically.
Oh, and Miss T's having her feast coming up too. I'll plug that.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. Well, Jazz was here. I don't know what happened. I don't know the ins and outs of it, so I can't really plug it. But yes. So be on the lookout for those things as well. Carty, where can the people find you at?
Hey, right here at the Carty Experience on Instagram, where you can get all your daily funnies and your civics lessons. Like the power.
That's how I felt too. I was like, that was a little bit dry. And and of course, I am
so sad. My stages of grief.
You see how he always cut me off? I'm getting sick of this shit. Thank you. Now, I am at Siren by Night on all platforms. At Siren by Night on Instagram, on Facebook, and TikTok. I'm at Siren_by Night. Y'all make sure y'all follow me, as well as the Unicorn Universe Network, This Unicorn Eats, where I review events and eat all types of good, delicious food, so you can know where to go for a date night or cocktails with your girlfriends, okay? But if you follow Siren by Night on Instagram, in my bio, it will be the links to everything else. And also, since I'm back in my bag, any information I have about protesting and, regarding getting 47 out of office after we already got 45 out of office, it will be there, as well as in my stories. Love y'all. Be safe. Or as Monique says, I love us for real. All right. That was it. That was my...